Hey everybody, JamieStarr here, New World News Network. So I haven't heard from Paul yet this morning, so I'm just gonna do a little podcast, cover some stuff by myself. First, where should we start? Well, since I have this up, let's start. I tried to post a preview of my last album. I don't know why Cortana on my Xbox is listening to me. Creepy ass. You hear that shit? So I'm doing this remix project, and I got like 16 tracks of like top 40 artists that I'm kind of putting my spin on. I tried to put out a preview of the project and ask people if they could make memes for me because I want artwork for each of these tracks. I'm gonna put them up on sites where you have to like retweet it to download it and stuff like that. I gotta turn this off as she's fucking going crazy. So I wanted like pictures of like take a picture of Justin Bieber and like put a MAGA hat on him and like a Pepe over in the corner, like kind of like how they do the Thug Life videos. But as you can see, before I could even get it out, no views, blocked on copyright grounds. And these were tracks like just so you guys have some insight into how good YouTube's AI or whatever they have processing these things are. All of these songs have completely new background music. Like the musical arrangements are all my workings, and it's like the acapellas of these other songs just laid on top of them. Somehow it still is able to pick it up that these are like Rihanna songs or Ariana Grande tracks. I've had it where I could upload a DJ mix, all of remixes, and it will be like, at this moment, we know you uploaded this remix, not flying. So when I see videos like I see this week of like Paul Joseph Watson and Steven Crowder and all these people say, oh, well, YouTube's not welcome to us. They're, taking down our videos or demonetizing us or, this, and that. Try being a musician and fucking breaking through. Because if you're not just playing little like okey doke acoustic covers of shit, it's not getting anywhere on YouTube. I mean, this is like my music career, basically. DCMA notices, takedown notices, fucking copyright infringement, the whole bit. The whole bit. And it's like, I'm remixing something, and I'm not even trying to get paid for it, so I'm not infringing on anyone's copyright. To let you know the scope of how bad it really is, and I mean, I guess they're excuses they're trying to safeguard things. I've had it on my page where they have taken down songs of mine that I've album tracks basically that I own the publishing to. I have it published through ASCAP, the whole bit, and they think they're someone else's because their AI algorithm picks it up and says, oh, well, this might not be this person's work. So then I have to submit my publishing paperwork and everything like that just to upload my own music on their platform. So I've always hated YouTube. As much as I like it, I hate it. And it really makes me wish I was in a position like Milo, who, just spent $3 million opening up his own publishing company. Because the music industry is so awful, when it comes to them suing restaurants for not paying additional publishing when they're playing music in their establishments. And, this whole idea that with music, we're selling you a product, you can buy the product, but then we want to make rules about the product that you now supposedly own. Like, oh, well, you can play it in this place, but if you record it on a tape and give someone a copy, well, that's an issue. You can, you own the product, but if you play it in a business or a restaurant, well, then we want additional money because you didn't buy the songs from us, you're just borrowing them. It's I hate it. And it would be so easy to just set up new framework in this day and age. 50 years ago, the radios are all based on antennas and everything like that. Now we have online. It would be so easy to just start like a open source artist collective where artists make their money sort of like on Patreon, where people can subscribe to the services and everything, and if artists are just getting this revenue ahead of time just to create the art, I don't think they would be so, hungry for trying to retain control and squeeze pennies out of these fans. Like, that's the other thing that bothers me about it, where I see it as, and I don't know if it's the artist or the industry behind it, but it's so predatory, where it's like, as if it isn't enough that you're a fan of the art, you've bought a CD, but now we want to be down your throats about where and when and who you're playing it in front of and what the context is. I mean, it's so stupid. It's so stupid. And you have it where car manufacturers now have been looking at this and basically want to do what the music industry does with some of them, where they want to go and say, like, you know how you have these people who will, like, kind of hook their cars up like it's driving out of the Fast and Furious, basically, with all sorts of aftermarket, exhausts and everything like that. Well, now the car companies want to stop people from doing that and say that they're infringing upon the copyright, that, this car can only be serviced by this company. And I know Honda's kind of like that, where if you buy a Honda, they want Honda to be the only one servicing it and everything like that. So it's like they've got their claws in you. You don't own the product. With cars, it's especially you don't own it, because when you register it, you don't register it to yourself. You register it to whatever city or town you're in. And that's why if you don't keep up with their rules, they take their shit back. It's not, think about it. If you have them come and take your car because you don't have plates on it or anything like that, it's not considered stealing. They're taking their property. You signed it over to them. People don't pay attention to that stuff, that little, what we're doing when we go through these motions. So anyway, my preview of the songs was taken down. I still would like the memes. I'm still, that's why there's been kind of a lull in me putting out content on here and everything else. Some of these issues, it's like beating a dead horse. The Google memo thing. Well, here's everyone's video on the Google memo. Some of that stuff, it's just like, I don't know. I just look at it as like, yeah, what'd you expect? This is what these people do. Speaking of which, there's a video I saw a little while ago about the Warskis, Armored Skeptic, and Francesca Ramsey. And, I had said before in my criticism of the skeptic community, like this whole, we just want to have a talk, this, and that. And I was saying how, the thing is those people, they're all this sort of like, they call themselves liberals. They don't understand that conservatives are trying to conserve liberal principles. So they're still liberal because they're pretty much okay with abortion and a handful of other things that conservatives realize are immoral. But because they aren't conservatives, they don't pay attention to conservative media and what these pundits are saying. Like Ann Coulter's never trust a liberal, and everything like that. When you're a conservative and you're on that side of the aisle, you know how the liberals act. You know they're disingenuous. You know they're two-faced. You know they say one thing and mean another. That's their M.O. That's their standard operating procedure. So when I saw all these videos like, oh, well, the Warskis and Greg, they're really hurt by Francesca. She betrayed them, and she's two-faced, and she's talking shit about them behind their backs, and, she's a social justice warrior. I'm sorry if I'm being real close. This is, besides the video that got taken down, it's my first run through with the new mic. So I'm sorry if I'm causing peaking or distortion or anything. But seriously, this is what they do. That's the MO. No shit. If you knew what you were dealing with, this would not be a surprise. You'd be like, oh, she did what she should have done. It's the way they act. It's their programming. That's just who they are. So, guys, grow up. Know what you're dealing with. It doesn't make Francesca Ramsey look bad. She already does enough of that herself. It makes you guys look bad for being, I mean, you're like a little kid on someone's coattails, just pulling at their pants, being like, but, talk, let's have a talk, and then when they just kind of kick you off their leg, you're like, oh, why'd you do that? Should have known what you were dealing with. You underestimate the beast within her. So, that's all I really have to say on that topic. What do we want to talk about next, guys? Also, I'm gonna have some friends by tonight, and I'll probably be active on my Mixer channel if anyone wants to pop by and hang out. I got a handful of new games, a bunch of new free games and stuff, so I'll be trying them out. Like I was saying, I'm trying to get this music project together, so things have been kind of quiet on everything else. I'm not into this gossip stuff. I'm not into this hopping on a bandwagon thing. If I create content, as far as in the political, social commentary realm, I want it to be something different. I don't want to be one of these people where you can go to my channel, Roamings, Crowders, Shapiro's, Gavin McGinnis, and whoever, and just sort of hear the same stuff. So I'm working on developing like content stuff as far as this remix project. Then I have a musical project I'm going to be working on with someone else who's kind of active within the right-wing community and everything. Gonna try and make a pretty girl into a pop star. And besides that, I'm working on a men's health cooking book. There's also the game streaming site. There's all the marketing stuff I'm working on. Eventually that will be put into things. I might start doing some mindset stuff, because as I've been researching wealth and a lot of Napoleon Hill books, Robert Kiyosaki, a lot of the stuff you'd think as like all the how to get rich books are really a lot about mindset. So I might put my foot into that realm as well. But yeah, I'm working on a whole bunch of different products, and eventually everything will sort of be tied together, where kind of like InfoWars, and everyone hates them for that. But if you're going to be a news outlet and you're going to be talking about all these problems, why wouldn't you offer solutions? So if I'm going to be out here talking about men's testosterone being lowered and everything like that, well, I'm going to have a, I don't know, maybe like $5 cookbook, digital e-cookbook, PDF file or whatever, for sale on Amazon. That's going to be a thing about a bunch of foods that you should up your intake of, some innovative recipes that you can do to do that, going with that structure. Anyway, so that's what I'm up to. That's the big plan, big picture stuff. So, let's get into some more of this fun. This guy I got into a little bit of an argument with, and I saw him arguing with someone else. I forget whose page it was originally on, and there was this meme that he had posted, and because I'm blocked, we can no longer see it. But it was basically like a picture of Soros, and it says, the 1%. Then it shows the communists, Antifa, whatever, and they're the other 1%. And then it shows a bunch of girls at a party with their little red cups, and it's like the 98% of people who don't care. And this guy's thing was, well, I'm out here trying to wake up the 98% of people who don't care. He didn't realize what his meme was really showing. And it shows like the true insight into these people. They realize there's a 1% ruling over everyone. And yet they realize that they're a 1% as well, who want to overthrow the ruling establishment and rule themselves. And then they think that there's this 98% of people that they just must not know what's going on. It's not that they're fine, with the structure they're in. They're okay with capitalism. They're okay with democracy. They're okay with all that stuff. No, they must just be, they don't understand how the capitalism is oppressing them, and they're too stupid to realize they're oppressed, so they need these 1% communist purists to lift the veil off them. No, that's not what's going on, buddy. You are the 1%. You are the 1% that tyrannically wants to rule everyone. You are Soros. And yet these people don't realize that Soros is the one funding all of theirs. I pulled up a list of all the organizations that the Open Society is backing. And it's all sorts of communists, socialists, Black Lives Matter, the whole bit, the whole fucking social justice left, all getting checks from Soros. Now, does that mean I think Soros is some grand puppet master and everything like that? No. You take him out, there's just gonna... there's another guy will pop up. I mean, I think Soros is basically like a front for the Rockefellers and the Rothschilds and all these other... He's just one of their lower level minions. It's the globalist agenda, basically. It's almost like... it's almost like you want to hold personal, individual accountability with these people. Like, you want to be able to call them out by name and identify them by name, but when there is an ideology linking all of it, it's like a virus, where it's like you can treat one patient, but they've already infected others. So, if anyone could find that meme, though, where it's like the 1%, the other 98%, oh man, it was so great, because these... lack of self-awareness. You're no different than Soros. You're a part of a 1% who wants to impose upon everyone else. Let's see, there's also this fat schmuck who's now on Broadway for some reason. I really hope people show up and decide to protest him. I hate this guy. I don't know why he's around or why he's relevant or anything like that. He's just a slob of a man. Trump's America. The last days of white rule. It's always a bitch to have to give up power you've held for 300 years. Who is this you that's been in power for 300 years? Like, it really... You wonder if this is all projection from the start. Like... if this is an acknowledgement that Michael Moore is just a cog in some sort of hive mind, because I mean the idea of saying like, it's amazing. It's amazing because what they're basically trying to say is like, there's no difference between the, yeah, all right, let me put it like this. When you put forth an idea like this, right? What he's doing, because liberals, they loved Bill Clinton. They loved Bill Clinton. That's why they all thought Hillary was going to get in. So what you're basically doing now is you're saying the sides of the aisle are whatever. We hold these elections and they're whatever. This election didn't even matter because Hillary and Trump were both white. So it would have been the you in power anyway. And I really wonder if this happened under Hillary's watch, would this be Hillary's America, the last days of white rule? It's a bitch to have to give up that power you've held for 300 years. Remember, Bill Clinton was white. JFK, he was white. So, I mean, he's basically saying there's no difference between conservative and fucking liberal. If you're white, and then you're part of this 300-year fucking what? Conspiracy? I mean, how removed from reality do you really have to be to buy into this race-baiting bullshit that there's like... I mean, people even act like this as far as the 1%, and Trump at least came out and said, yeah, the 1%, they don't like me because they have to compete against me. How many people in your life are you on the exact same page with? Lockstep, to the beat? Probably no one. So why do these... I mean, unless if you're in a cult, and these leftists are kind of... So, I mean, again, is it just a projection? I don't know. But I know it always bothers me because I know within myself, I can't, like... I couldn't look at a group of black people doing this and saying, oh, well, you guys have just been doing this for hundreds of years and 300, I mean, as if there's like a 300-year consistency within a race of people to, like, oh my God. Oh my, let me get elected. Let me get elected, and I swear to God, Michael Moore, Linda Sarsour, and all the rest of these fucking mouthpieces are gonna be in a gulag. Chelsea, I mean, because here's the reality of it. Chelsea Handler, even this week, tweeting out, oh, our generals, they should take out Trump now instead of later because the longer he's in there, the worse it's going to happen. All of these people, there's a fine line between your freedom of speech and active subversion and trying to take over the country with treason and everything like that. So, I think a lot of these people need to be taken out. They're dangerous. They are what fuels this whole resist every day. This is fascism. Oh. They wish they were living in Man in the High Castle. So, with the Google memo, you had this come out, and this woman, I assume she's Jewish. A lot of self-hatred in this woman, I think, because she's in the sciences, but all of her concerns is social justice. And even, I guess, her coworkers criticize her for that, where they're like, why don't you just work in science? I was recording! Let's see if we can finish this. First off, let me just say, all I want out of life is enough money so that I can disappear. And I don't even need it to be a lot. These people that I live with, I mean, really everyone. I hate everyone. I don't like people. Period. I just want to be alone somewhere to work on my projects. I want to end up like Matt Drudge. Give an interview once every handful of years, send out a tweet once a year, and that's it. And then just run some websites. But I have people who... let me tell you, the craziest thing is I'm driving back from an appointment with my mom, and my mom goes to me and says, you know what I think you need, James? You need a vacation. You need so you can just step away. It would really help. No, I need to work. I need to be able to work without people thinking that I can be up in my room broadcasting and they can just have a conversation with me from down fucking stairs. These people just don't understand. They don't even grasp it. I mean, if my mom had her way, I'd work minimum wage from now until the day I die because it's better to have a job than to have a career, I guess. Like, they just don't get it. And then here's the craziest thing. I go to her and I tell her that. I said, I don't need a vacation. I need to be able to work. And her response is, well, you live in a house with 6 people. And I said, okay, next time you're complaining you can't work, that's what I'm going to say. Oh, well, of course, all huffy and puffy about that. So what do I take from that? Well, no one respects my work. No one respects what I do. Obviously, you see how it's like, the people they won't walk upstairs and hear someone in a room talking to them fucking selves and thinking, well, maybe I shouldn't interrupt them. Swear. And these people, I mean, I would sound paranoid in saying this, but as long as there are people around me, it gets to the point where, in order for me to do what I need to do, they will literally place every obstacle they can in my way and make everything as difficult as possible when everything should be easy. I mean, if I didn't have people around me, my output would be insane. But my problems start, I wake up, as you guys saw in the beginning of the broadcast, you can see me from now until the point where this is going to cut. The only bright side of this is now I have a reason to install the video editing program on here so I can merge the clips. I wake up happy as a clam until the phone rings. until I'm bombarded with messages online, basically until there's an interaction with someone else, because everyone else seems to have this mindset that my existence is for their convenience. My goals, whatever I want to do with myself, the things that make me happy, well, that's all supposed to be, I'm supposed to get to that like during my sleep or something. And all of my waking hours are supposed to be helping everyone else facilitate their bullshit. I hate everyone. Anyway, now that I'm done ranting, stop equating science with truth. Now, this was the most fruitful gem that came out of the Google memo thing. Like I was saying about this woman, obviously there's a identity issue here where even her coworkers have said, you spend more time on this social justice. Look at me, I'm in STEM. Here's my vagina. The skin around it's black. Black vagina. No one gives a shit. And this woman, it's all she talks about. First off, side note, I made lunch for Michael Kerner. He plays the Tinkerer in the new Spider-Man movie. He was on an episode of Law & Order, and he's on Orange is the New Black. I made him lunch a few weeks ago. Him and Abigail Spencer from Suits. She's gorgeous. She's really nice, too. I ran into her a handful of times within a week. Made her lunch probably 3 or 4 times that week. And one time she just passed by me when I was opening up the shop and said hello, and very nice woman. Michael, though, I was watching the Spider-Man movie. I was going to send him a tweet being like, hey, man, I made you lunch a few weeks ago. Spider-Man did a good job. Good going. And then I see his Twitter, and I'm not going to bother bringing it up, but because we all know Chelsea Handler's looks the same. A bunch of other celebrities all look the same. His Twitter page is basically a fanboy hate page dedicated to Donald Trump. Even when there's a celebrity whose work you want to like, their political nonsense will just cause you to be like, fuck them. Seriously. So that's my message to these celebrities. You're losing fans. And you're replaceable. Trust me. I have more talent in the tip of my dick than half the musicians making millions. I'm serious. If anything, I end up in this area where I do too much musically and things are overproduced. I mean, it works out well sometimes where I have songs I put out in 2012 and people think they're still more cutting edge than what's coming out now. Generally, I'm so far ahead of the curve, it goes underappreciated for a couple years. But, like the whole tropical poverty and beaches sound, yeah, I was on that shit way before Bieber and everyone else. But anyway, back to this article. This crazy woman, there's one little line where you can see her kind of scoffing. Where is it? Let's see. It's 2017. Are people still debating whether or not women are intellectually inferior to men, and whether we are entitled to a workplace that isn't toxic to people simply based on their gender? The Google employee memo about the apparent harms of diversity policies in Silicon Valley is both shocking news story for the general public and for many women and general minorities, especially of color working in science. Yeah, but you have the completely wrong idea about what the memo is. There's a specific line I'm looking for. I think it's in this paragraph. Is it impossible to consider this field of science without grappling with the flaws of the institution and of the deification of science itself? Which I do think is a problem, that science has become deified. You see that in the skeptic community. Like Sam Harris. I commented on a video about Sam Harris this week where they were like, oh, well, in this video, Sam Harris says it's wrong to base intelligence on IQ and, assume someone's IQ based on their race. But if a woman's in a elevator with a black person, well, then she should take into account the fact that he's black. And people were trying to say that this is him contradicting himself. And it's like, no, he's talking about different contexts and things like that. Like, ridiculous. But Sam Harris is a moron. All these people with this cult worship of Sam Harris as if he's saying anything smart or of value, or it's like the deification of science also, and atheism also include the deification of Dawkins, Hitchens, Harris, and none of them are, they're all full of illogical fallacies and just a bunch of bullshit. But there's a confirmation bias where it's like, if you can just say fuck God eloquently, then you are the new God, basically. Anyway, for example, it was argued this week that the Google memo failed to constitute hostile behavior because it cited peer-reviewed articles that suggest women have different brains. So you see, she's taking issue with this, women have different brains. The well-known scientist who made this comment to me is both a woman and someone who knows quite well that peer-reviewed and correct are not interchangeable terms. This is true. People act like that. Oh, peer-reviewed. Yeah, well, if you have a bunch of people in a cult, I mean, if you had a bunch of Christians, like Christian literalists, review a paper that says the Earth was made in 7 days, well, it's peer-reviewed. So I agree with her on some of this stuff. The problem is these people want to selectively apply this. I agree with her overall views about, pump the brakes with the science worship. But this idea that, behavior because it cited reviewed articles that suggest women have different brains. Now, she's taking an issue with the idea that women have different brains than men. What she doesn't realize she's done is she's inadvertently made an argument against transgenders. And this is the leftist cannibalism, where it's when you're selective, well, then you're going to say something. Then when I apply it to a different one of your arguments, the whole thing falls apart. So if men and women don't have different brains, why do we let people mutilate and sterilize themselves? Because that whole argument was, you have a man's brain in a woman's body, or a woman's brain in a man's body, or so on and so forth. So it's that's what really stuck out to me in this whole thing, is this, that one little detail where she was like, oh, they suggest that women have different brains. Yeah, well, so do all the transgender and the LGBTQAIP, LMNOP plus people. So, good job. Let's see. Let's go on to this article. Another project that I want to do, if I ever had time and space and peace and quiet, is I want to write a book about the, I'll probably call it outrage economics, and the supply, and go through basically the Gavin McInnes point, and hopefully, because, Martina and Jack have no Gavin. Hopefully I can get his approval or his blessing, because I don't want to write a whole book off one of his analogies without him co-signing it. So maybe I can write a really bang-up book and get him to write the foreword or something for it. So anyway, this is part of that, where we haven't had a police shooting of a black person in a while, so we need it. We need it to, hold up the narratives and everything. So when you have the demand for police hunting of black people in the streets and you're not getting it, well, what else are we going to do? Well, I guess now we got to bitch and moan about the amount of time a cop is going to have a gun pointed at someone. What they fail to realize is this essentially also debunks a leftist talking point, because my question would be like, 9 minutes? Well, why didn't he shoot him? He's black. That's what you tell me. That cops are just shooting black people, hunting them for sport. Why didn't he shoot him? I mean, 9 minutes. 9 minutes. 9 minutes. I mean, okay, what's the allowed point of time? What's the amount of time that, you could point a gun at someone without the left fucking going ape shit and losing their minds? 9 minutes, I guess 8 is the cutoff point, huh? That's how it would seem. So, I thought that was funny. I'll probably add that into the outrage economics books. The Google memo will definitely be in there, along with fake hate crimes and everything like that. I just gotta figure out how you do all the citations and shit like that for a book. I was never good at that stuff in school. Hopefully with computer technology and everything, I can find a way to make it easier. Or if anyone does know how to do all that stuff and wants to help me with the formatting and everything like that, I have all these ideas, and I could just, I really could like push into building a media empire with books and everything else if I could just, if I had, the little parts where it's like, oh, well, I could do this big picture thing, but here's this little thing where I don't want to fucking spend the time photoshopping MAGA hats onto a picture of Justin Bieber. If I could just go to someone and be like, hey man, here's $100, knock out 16 of these pictures for me. I mean, I guess that's why I need to start a Patreon, so that people can support me and my crazy ideas and everything like that. Anyway, here's a meaty issue I've been wanting to get into, and it's mainly because of that Chester Bennington thing and a lot of the comments I've been having on that. And it's basically, I want to talk to people about how to recognize disinfo. And let me first say, the truth community is now mirroring social justice warriors. This deserves a video of its own, so maybe I'll edit this segment off and give it its own video. I have friends who helped wake me up, basically. And now I see them scoffing at ideas like the flat earth. Now, if you don't look into flat earth, you don't realize that it's not just people simply saying, oh, well, the earth is flat. There's a lot of people going through and debunking certain geometric, mathematical, astrological, NASA, there's so much entailed into it that when people just take this bulk, well, it's a disinfo psyop, the shills and the agents and the blah. Disinfo, shill, psyop are essentially the racist, sexist, homophobe of the truth community. Social justice warriors have their sayings that are basically, shut up, I don't want to hear it, you're infringing on my narrative. And that's what the truth community does. When they call someone a shill or disinfo or anything like that. People want to call me disinfo because I don't agree in lockstep with some of your crazy conspiracies. Yet, when I go and say, well, this whole conspiracy just comes from one blog with an anonymous source and there's nothing to it, that looks like disinfo. You know what else looks like disinfo? When you have someone coming out and saying that Justin Bieber is talking about pedophiles in the industry at a Bible meeting that he's been going to regularly when he's been on a world tour for 2 years. How do you do that? How do you go to a Bible meeting regularly in LA when you're off touring in fucking who knows where? It's disinfo. Now, the problem is, what people need to realize is the easiest way to make someone believe a lie is to have it packaged with truth. So, if you have fake quotes about Justin Bieber talking about pedophiles in the music industry, and we know there's pedophiles in the music industry, well, that's true. They also put in the Elijah Woods claims. Those Elijah Woods claims, Elijah did say that. The Corey Feldman saying, Corey Feldman did say that. So you have all this truth, and then there's a big old lie in the middle of it, but it's like feeding a pill to a dog covered in peanut butter or something. The Scariest Movie Ever, shout out to his channel, has a video called the Lucifer's Most Devilish Deception, and it basically talks about the Zeitgeist movie and the claim that Jesus is Horus, and, it's all these old stories, and, basically Bill Maher's religious list claims, goes through and just demolishes that whole idea. That was another instance. The two latter parts of that movie about the government and all that was majority true. The whole beginning bit, complete bullshit. But I bought it when I first saw it, because at that point in my mind, I was thinking, fuck God, fuck religion, that's all a bunch of bullshit, this, and that. So that confirmation bias, well, then I hear something that eloquently and, puts a pretty, wording to a sentiment I already had. So I just fall for it. That's what's happening now. People, oh, pizza places, fucking, pedophilia. If you already are in that mindset, well, then you get this little bit that fits right with that. You just lockstep right with it. And I was telling everyone, this Pizzagate shit, the Democrats are running it. They're going to shut down the internet. They're going to start censoring things. No, you're wrong. You're disinfo. You're helping the pedophiles. And now people are going to me and saying, you know what? You're right. Now, here's the other thing I want to try to tell people. Pick your battles. I watched some video of some guy going to his local pizza place. Like some of these channels, like Titus Frost was one of them, and there was one guy he was talking to. Those two are dangerous. Don't listen to them, because you had this guy going into his own pizza shop, Pinky's or something like that. I mean, let me tell you some of the things this guy said in his video. Pinky's had giant letter P's posted around it. And we all know the letter P stands for pedophile. I mean, the bar is so low for what people need to see to then make these over-the-top, serious claims. If all you got to see is someone throwing up a devil sign and a slice of pizza, and then you jump to pedophile, you have a problem. Same thing with the logos. Here's a point I tried to make. Someone tried telling me that Linkin Park and Britney Spears are putting pedophile symbols in their logos. This assumes that they have a say in their logos, but to bring awareness to the pedophile signs. I said, these are secret pedophile symbols. Whose awareness are they? Does your mom know the secret pedophile signs? I didn't know them until that FBI memo, and I think the whole government's corrupt, so I even question those signs. Did the FBI show us all of them? Did the FBI show us the ones that they have now abandoned for new signs? But there's no questioning, because people just, the moral outrage, and it's the social justice warrior mentality caught on the right wing, and it's just so easy to lead people astray with stuff like that. But you're now assuming too that all graphic designers are aware of these signs. I mean, I would assume 80% of them aren't. You know the 80-20 rule? Half of this is probably 80% coincidence. 20% is probably otherwise. But I mean, again, this guy in this video said, there's like My Little Pony pictures and, pizza and everything like that. And his response is, this is or people had to like satanic seeming tattoos, and he's saying, this is pedophilia going on in front of our faces in broad daylight. A pizza place with a bunch of peas on the walls with some My Little Pony shit. I mean, it's all fucking cracked out seeming and doesn't make sense to me, but that's not pedophilia going on in front of everyone's faces. That's a fucking pizza shop with some weirdo owners. Sometimes you just have weirdo owners that aren't pedophiles. There's a place around me, a culinary guy opened up a little fucking lunch place called the Crooked Rooster. I think the Crooked Rooster, crooked is not straight. It's a rooster. It's like a bird cock. It's kind of like gay cock. I think it's a gay innuendo, but I don't think they're fucking trafficking little boys out of the back of the place. And here's the other thing. You guys could spend all day long speculating about Linkin Park's logos and what say they have over their logos, who's putting it there, fucking Chester being related to Podesta. I mean, it's so far out of reality when it's like Roman Polanski, Dennis Hastert, R. Kelly, Bryan Singer, Sandusky, Bill Cosby, Jimmy Savile, like Dr. Luke, the names you can just, I mean, you got videos about Lil Wayne talking about his managers making women fuck him when he was a teenager. Like, we know We know who the people are. It doesn't stay quiet forever. Don't go digging down these purely speculative rabbit holes that are fruitless. At the end of the day, it's fruitless. This was one of the things I really learned from Ben Shapiro and real conservatives, where it's like there are battles to be picked, and there are ways to go about choosing these battles, and then there's just chasing your tail and endless speculation about stuff. So be careful, because when they're talking about censoring the internet, and when you know they want to censor the internet, it's really dangerous to have people so ready where all they need to see is a heart on top of a heart, something that could easily just be coincidental. Because it's not a complex geometric arrangement of anything. A heart on top of a heart and a slice of pizza, and then they're 1,000 miles an hour off the deep end. I mean, you have fucking Chester Bennington die under shady circumstances. I think they're shady circumstances. But then he resembles Podesta, so now there's this whole fairy tale story about someone who was in the industry being a millionaire for years and everything. I mean, let me tell you what. You would have had me more with this whole Chester Podesta resemblance conspiracy if you at least went the Jim Morrison route. If you at least tried saying, Chester is Podesta's son, and he has been, overseeing him the whole time. It's all, Lincoln Park is actually a military intelligence op, and Chester didn't die. He just took the Jim Morrison retirement package where now he's living on a fucking farm somewhere. I'd have more belief for that than this crazy story where, Chester was abused, but then he's in the system. He's surrounded by pedophiles, but he's fighting against them. And that's why there's pedophile signs in his logos, because he's fighting the good fight. Everyone else in his band, yeah, they're corrupt. They're getting money from the Clintons. But Chester, he's the hero. Fuck you. Fuck all of you. You're seeing what you want to see. This is nonsense. And in the reality of it is Linkin Park. Like, I go through my videos. Their sales were doing this. Their next album, at the rate they're going, won't even sell 100,000 copies. Their sales are halving each time. And you have Shaka Khan talking about how they'll take people out to bump up sales. And they could not even take them out. They could just take them out publicly. You don't know what the industry's like. And a lot of people are making a lot of assumptions and seem very firm in their assumptions when they have very little information. This whole Chester resembles Podesta, his brother resembles Podesta, this and that. What does his mom look like? I haven't seen anyone put forth a picture of his mom. What if his mom has all those same similar facial features as Podesta? Are we going to think that Podesta fathered his mom and then fucked his mom to father, Chester? Why not? That's how far out there this shit is getting. Don't waste your time with it. And let me just add, as far as this Charlottesville shit, pump the fucking brakes. I know that sounds like a bit of a joke with the car crash thing, but pump the brakes. One asshole driving a car into a crowd of people is not a civil war. Unless you're all a bunch of pussies. And I guess I'm just going to leave it at that. So have a good one, everyone. Take care. Check out the channels. JamieStarr.org, NewWorldNewsNetwork.com. All the links are below. Follow us on Twitter. Do it up.